Hi everyone, I'm John Voelker and I'm here to share a recent near-death experience. And NDEs have been studied for over 50 years now. In the 1970s, Raymond Moody wrote a book called Life After Life, and it was quite popular. And we were all taken with the fact that around the world, people would have this similar experience, a sequence of events leading up to physical death, and then making a decision to return. And 9 months ago, I had that experience and would like to share that with you. I consider this my second most important experience that I've had in 68 years of life. And I want to share with you briefly the first most important experience. I had been caught up in an active drug addiction for almost 13 years and found myself debilitated, essentially living on the streets in Denver, Colorado. When I could afford it, I had a shabby hotel room. And I awoke on October 11th, 1982, to a blazing light in my room. Oh, I can't recount this without incredible emotion of what occurred to me. I knew that something dramatic had happened. Um, the universe was touching my life directly. I remember I tumbled out of bed onto my knees, and my body felt half gravity, and the room was blazing with light and energy. And on my knees, I heard the word, "You are now free." After so much struggle and pain and fear, and I looked around my surroundings, and everything was patterns of energy and love. And I felt a deep, unconditional love. And I felt a freedom that I had never experienced. And that single event completely changed my life. I knew at that time, at that moment, that life was about extending love, about being of service. I knew that this was now a classroom for my letting go of fear and embracing love. And how can I extend love to other people? And an amazing life ensued from that moment. I gathered all the skills that I had, my passions, and I thought, how can I apply these to help other people? And that's been a continuous way of life for 41 years now. So 9 months ago, we were living in a rural area, and I became infected with a rare mycobacteria. I didn't know it at the time. And a problem with being an optimist is I always think things are just going to resolve on their own. And this continued to get worse. My leg became infected, and it became quite painful. And we did have a small clinic with hospital beds close by. And I finally begrudgingly went to the hospital. And the doctor in charge put me on massive ciprofloxacin IV. But I continued to deteriorate. And my temperature soared. And I went into a state here in reality of delirium that I don't recall. But I really was extremely sick and had become septic. And suddenly I found myself in a different dimension. I was on a beach. I love beaches. I was on a beautiful beach with a sand hill behind me and a beautiful surf in front. And there were two huts. And in the second hut was an Indian man. And I immediately recognized what was happening. From my study of near-death experiences, I understood right away that I was at the threshold. And the Indian man was someone that I saw years ago. My many travels to India, pilgrimaging. On one occasion, I climbed a holy mountain in southern India, Anarchala, and it was the home of the great saint Ramana Maharshi. And I'm quite attracted to his ashram, have spent much time there. And it was a full moon, and I took a blanket in the late evening and summited the mountain, and I actually saw a hut with a holy man in it. And I had heard of this guy. He existed on milk. And the next morning, I saw a young boy bring him his milk. But I reverently approached him and got shooed away. In Hindi, they say "Jao," and he jowed me. He didn't want me to come near him, so I retreated. But I watched him intently, and he was, in my estimation, an awakened being and emanating love and energy. I finally retreated around the other side of the summit and spent a beautiful night in prayer and meditation, and continued my spiritual pilgrimage of India. So why he was my guide for this NDE, I have no idea. But there he was. It was the same man. And telepathically, he told me to go into the other hut and meditate. And I followed instructions. I remember sitting in the sand inside this hut, and suddenly, in front of me, I was given, I could describe it as a bank of flat screen TVs. It was all energy beaming at me. And suddenly, I could see my entire life. And it was, time was suspended. It was multidimensional. I could actually review everything that my 68 years had included. And I was witnessing the impact that I have had on other people in my attempts to extend love and be of service. And multidimensionally, in the suspension of time, I was actually experiencing 68 years of life and how everything had made sense and how much love I was able to extend to other people. And it was an overwhelming experience of, I have passed this class. Earth School for me was an A+, and I just felt so much love and gratitude for the experience that I was given here on Earth. And this all happened in an instant. It was simultaneous, multidimensional. And I arose from the hut, and he was now standing in front of his hut. And I noticed the sand hills behind me, and that was the threshold. And tremendous love and light was over that hill. And I felt that that was the threshold. And he asked me in English, verbally, "Do you want to cross over?" And without hesitation, I said no. I felt in my heart all the love of my partner, my friends, my family, and there was much to be done still. And so resolutely I said no, and he said, "Good choice." I thought it was so funny. He said, "Good choice," and bowed to me. And I walked down the beach, and I looked at my body, and it was radiant light. I was radiating health. You can see now I have a PICC line in my arm. I'm on a massive IV regimen. The local docs are doing everything they can to restore me to health. And I just know from that feeling of walking that beach, the radiant health will be achieved, and I have much more service to do. I have many more people to extend love to. But I found that secret October 11th, 1982, that this is a classroom of letting go of fear and extending love and removing the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence. And that continues to be my daily practice. But now I've had an opportunity to experience an NDE directly, and I have no fear of death. What awaits all of us is oceanic love beyond human comprehension. And I thank you so much for sharing this with me. And life is a classroom. Make it fun and see how many ways you can extend the gifts you've been given to directly help other people. And your life review will be astounding. Thank you so much.